Karkadosh Boker Or Masechet Batra Daf Lamed Hey Amud Aleph 135a1 says the Gemara. We're starting another story again. Hahu Da'ava Ka Shachiv. There was a person that was going to pass away. Okay, so here he went and he passed away. He had brothers and he didn't have any children. Amrule, so they asked him, right now, Itete Leman. He says, is your wife going to be permitted right after death? Which means that she need yibum. Amar Leu, he told them, Chazya lechahana rabba, right? She's fitting even for a Kohen Gadol. Now, that sounds a little bit weird, no? Right? Why? Who's a Kohen Gadol allowed to get married? Only two. To a betula, meaning not even an almana. Meaning a regular Kohen could get married to an almana, not to a grusha. She could get married even to a Kohen Gadol. Amar Rava says, my nechushla. Well, he's going to die. So they're asking, what's going to be with your wife? Because he didn't have any children. So does she need yibum or not? He says she's fitting for Kohen Gadol. What does that mean? He's believed. So Amaleh Abaye says to Rava, he said, no, you're not going to be believed if he says that he divorced his wife. So Amaleh comes and he tells him, he says, what? We didn't already answer the stira? There's a difference between lehaba and lemafreya. Lemafreya means retroactively. Lehaba means from now onwards. So you're right. From now onwards, he is believed. Why is he going to be believed? Because he could divorce her right now. The fact that a guy could divorce his wife right now, so he's going to be believed, right? That he says, he divorced his wife. But now he says, but not retroactively. He can't go backwards because backwards he can't change the past. But he could change right now, the present, and the future. So says the Gemara, are we going to be somech on this? Amale Rava le Rav Natan Barami, says Rava to Rav Natan Barami, chushla. You have to be choshesh for this. And therefore you're going to prohibit her, right, to get married until she does chalitza. So in this case, even though, right, imagine the guy's dying. We know he has no children. He only has brothers. So obviously the wife has to do yibum. All of a sudden we come and we tell the husband, by the way, what's going to happen with your wife afterwards? She has to do yibum, no? So he goes, no, she's permitted to a Kohen Gadol. So thinking, what does that mean? Yeah. So they say, no, at the end of the day, they still have to come and she has to do chalitza, meaning she cannot do anything, right, until she does chalitza. Here he says, obviously, to Kohen Gadol it cannot, because even almana is not allowed to do it, but the kavanah was that she's permitted without any problem. Okay? The kilu that she doesn't have to do yibum. Another story. There was a person that we had a chazakah, he didn't have any brothers. Yeah, but there was no edim. So he says at the time of death, he has no brothers. Amar Rabbi Yosef, so what are you going to suspect? First of all, we have a chazakah. And the chazakah is that he has no brothers. And furthermore, he said it at the time of death. Abaye says, he says, but there are people in the city that say that there are witnesses that in Dinat Yam, in another city, in another country, that he does have brothers. So therefore it should prohibit. So says the Gemara, Hashtamiya halitinu kaman. Says Rabbi Yosef, yeah, but they're not here. Meaning, what are people saying? By the way, there's witnesses that are they here? We don't have anybody. Right now we have a chazakah, no brothers. He said no brothers. We don't have it. So that's it. There's nothing. Hashtamiya halitinu kaman. Lava I know the Rabbi Chanina. That's not Rabbi Chanina. Tamar Rabbi Chanina, but says Rabbi Chanina. Edim betzadistan, the edim which known tum'ah, which are going to be found in the north of the world. B'teaseh, well, you're going to be osir the woman on smach edutam. Meaning, imagine right now a woman comes and she says that she was captured, but she's still pure, right? That means even though she was captured amongst the goyim, she wasn't violated. Yeah. Or so what? You're going to believe her? Says maybe be'emet there's edim somewhere, I don't know where, that she's going to be prohibited. And then what? You're going to prohibit her? Abaye says, there's a huge difference between a shvuya and a shetish. A shvuya, a woman in captivity, we should be lenient. Why? Imagine right now she's the wife of a Kohen. She was captured. Yeah? So now what? Are you going to start being machmir on her? You start being machmir on her. That's it. She loses out on everything. So what are you going to do? So therefore, you're going to be mekel. But this is a regular Shatish. Why in the world are you going to be Mekel in Shatish? So Amale Rava le Rav Natan Barami, says Rava to Rav Natan Barami, Hushla. Yeah, you should be Choshesh, right? To this deen. Okay? You should be Choshesh. Why? Because maybe Bemet, there's witnesses, and therefore she's going to be prohibited Bemet. Yeah, until you actually know. So the same thing. So it says Rava to Rav Natan Barami, you have to suspect that maybe Bemet he's got brothers, and therefore it's a problem. Okay? Fine. 2 dots on the bottom of Kufla Medhei Amud Aleph. Right? We're starting a new. There's the Gemara. Right? We're quoting the Mishnah. Ze achi. Somebody comes and he says, this is my brother, he's not going to be believed. Ve'idach, my kamre. So says the Gemara, the other brothers, what are they saying? If the other brothers say yes, that he's our brother, so why does he only take from that the chelik of that brother and that's it? Right? Ela berather. So obviously they're saying that he's not the brother. Right? So he says, Ema Seifa. Let's see the Seifa. Okay, we just started the 2 dots, right? Let's say the Seifa. One more time. A guy comes and he said, this is my brother. So we said, even though it could be that he's not believed to impose on the other brothers, but he's believed on his portion. So his portion, he has to divide it in 2 and give it to the brother. So ask the Gemara, but just check what the brothers are saying. If the other brother is saying that he is a brother, so why is he only taking from this guy's portion? He should take from everybody. So obviously they're saying that he's not the brother. Let's see the Seifa. All of a sudden the brothers in here with him. But they just said that he's not the brother. So what's going on? So answers the Gemara, what are we talking about? Right? The Ka'amri, 3 lines up from the bottom. The Ka'amri enanu yodin. He's saying we don't know. That means they say, listen, we don't know if he's a brother or not. We don't know. All of a sudden the guy comes up. No idea. We don't know. Amar Rava says, Zotomere, this means to say, Maneli biyadcha ve'ala omer eni yodea patur. If somebody comes and he says, Maneli biyadcha, that I have a maneh with you, another guy comes and he says, no, I don't know, he's going to be patur. He's going to be patur. So Abaye comes and he pushes off and he says, Kuf Lamed He Amud Bet, 135b, Leolam Imelecha, really I'm going to tell you chayav. That really be'emet he's going to be chayav, right? To carry. Why? Because bari v'shema bari adif. Remember, when you're certain and the other guy is uncertain, the one that has a certainty always wins. Why? Because you're for sure. I come and I say, you owe me money. I don't know. You owe me money. Why? The fact that I come and I say, I know, and you say, I don't. So now that's it. Bari v'shema, bari adif. The bari is always adif. So says the Gemara, Leolami Milecha, really I'm going to tell you 135b. Leolami Milecha chayav. Really, you're going to be chayav. Shanehacha here, it's like maneh leacher biyadcha dami. It's like you have maneh in somebody else's hand. So therefore, in such a case, according to everybody, even if he's going to say Shema, he's not chayav l'shalem because you could just say, listen, I have nothing to do with you. Imagine I come and I say, you owe him money. And you're like, I'm not sure. You don't have to pay. Why? Because you're going to tell me, what are you coming to me for? You understand? Kilo, I don't know about him. If he would come to you, that's something different. Because then it's a bari v'shema, for sure, and I'm not sure. Here, what does it have to do with you? Get out of here. I don't have to pay. Okay, 2 dots. Met, what happens right now if the guy met a safek, so the brother that was a doubt, he dies, the properties go back to the proper place. Rava says, what's halacha to do with the properties that they appreciated on their own? So when we're talking about shevach, which is coming to the ktefayim, which is so that you worked for it, is not a question. Because that's kilu that it came from somewhere else. One is a question when it comes, for example, dikla ve'alim. You had a palm tree and it became very, very strong and very good. Or you had the land, that's kasiton, and now it went bad. Right? So he says, here when they went actually good. Because basically since the siton came up, it became appreciated afterwards. So what's halacha? Teiku. We don't have an answer. Meaning usually when you come and you appreciate a field, you did something for it. So I could understand. Here, it appreciated on its own. What happens to that? Does that go back also to this brother? Right? Remember, there was one brother that says, this is my brother. The other brothers say, we don't know. So they say, listen, since you were the only one that admitted that it's your brother, you have to divide the Yerusha between him and you. That means, right now there are 4 brothers, and he's saying there's a 5th one. His 4th chelik, he has to divide in 2 and give it to the 5th one. The other ones don't have to give him a penny because they say, listen, we don't know. And there's nothing really what to do here. But he says, but if the guy dies, this brother that we don't really know, So therefore it goes back to the middle. Okay, Mishnah Kuf Lamed Hei Amud Bet. Mishemed v'nimtzeh daitiki kishoel lirecho. A guy that dies, and you have a shtar shchiv mina tzava'ah, meaning a will that's tied to him. Harizonu klum, it's nothing, right? Why? He says because at the end of the day, right, it's not going to acquire because we're going to suspect that maybe Be'emet he didn't actually want to give it, and the shtar is not koneh la'achar mita. Remember, it's a document. A document is not koneh after death. There was a famous story that happened in England with a very, very, very big, wealthy Bal Tzedakah. That on the night of Purim, he came and he was giving out tons of money on tzedakah. And then the same night, he passed away. Can they cash the checks? The halacha was no. Because a check is not cash. A check is an obligation to give something for afterwards. And therefore, there were people that were trying to be, they're going to cash it in right away, go to the bank, this, that. If they already cashed the check, meaning they put the check before he passed away, that's fine. But it's like a shtar, it's like a document. A document cannot acquire yet, right? It's not legal tender. It leads to money. It's an obligation to money, but it's not an obligation. It's not money in itself. However, though, says the Mishnah, Zika ba'le'acher ben mina yoshim ben shen mina yoshim dvarav kaimim. But you could be mizakeh. Are you listening? We'll end this for you. You could be mizakeh. How are you going to be mizakeh? If you do a zikui to somebody else, that means you're being mizakeh. That you pick it up for him. You pick this up. You pick up whatever it is, and now you're being mizakeh to him, the property or whatever it is. You're doing a kinyan. You're being mizakeh to somebody else. So then it does work. Okay. Why? Because he's zocheh even without a kinyan. Because since it was actually going to be right, even though it's not written down in a shtar, right, it's going to be okay. Because this is again shchiv mina. Says the Gemara, Tanur we learned to the Braita. Ezoi daitiki. What is a daitiki? Kol shekatuba, anything which is written, dat tehele mekam veliyot. That's a daitiki, by the way. That's a reshetevot. This shtar should be for good after his death, which means daitiki is like an acronym for dai, which is da, te, tehe, kuf is lemekam veliyot. I mean, this should be like a will. This should be like a standing will.
Check that's going to last even after his death.
Yes. What is a matana? From now and after death. But from now until after death, it's going to be a matana. It's not going to be a matana. So Rabbi comes and he says, this is what he says. What is a matana bari, which is like a matana shchimena? Delo kani, that is not going to be right kone, ela lachar mita. Kol shekatuv bo me'ayom ulachar mita. When it says in the document, me'ayom ulachar mita, from now and after death, so therefore, meaning a regular shtar matana, it's not written that. So therefore, he comes and he says it's not domeh to a tzavat shchiv mina. So he says the mekabel is zochem yad. Meaning when you give a present, immediately you're koneh, you acquire it, whether it's the body of the land with the fruits and everything. Okay. So yativ Rabbi Rav Huna. So we're sitting Rabbi Rav Huna b'achzad de Rav and the bet midrash of Rav. Yativ kamesh med Rabbi Yochanan, and he's saying in the name of Rabbi Yochanan. Imagine Shchimra comes and he says, write and give $100 to this guy. Now, give it to him right now. Umet, and then he dies. En kotvin venotrin. We don't give it. Why? Shema lo gomar liknotol, because maybe he only wanted it with a document. Then shtala chamitan. There's no shtar after death. So Malo Rabbi Lazar is darube. He says, be careful with this halacha. It's not worth anything. What is a will good for? No, because a will is a written document and there's a kinyan, everything is done properly. A will, yes, because everything was done. Fine. So says the Gemara, Amar Rav Nachman, Bar Yitzchak, Rav Shizbi, Amar Rav Elazar, Amar Rav Yochanan, and Zarubeh. You have to be careful with it. So Amar Rav Nachman, Bar Yitzchak, Kavated Rav Shizbi, Mistabra, it's logical to say like Rav Shizbi. Yama Bishmad Rav Elazar, Amar, you're going to tell me now it's like Rav Elazar that said it. Itzich Rav Yochanan, Lasude, Aled Rav Elazar. So therefore, Rav Yochanan has to testify about a student that they should believe him. Ella, but if you're going to tell me it's Rabbi Yochanan that said it, this is what? Rabbi Elazar have to testify that Rabbi Yochanan the halacha is like him? The old and furthermore, Tashema, Rabbi Elazar said it. Tishlach Rabbi Mishmed Rabbi Yavu, Hevu Yodim, you should know, Shishlach Rabbi Elazar legolam mishum Rabbeinu. He sent to the exile in the name of the rabbi, in the name of Rav. Right? Met and he died. You don't write it. Because maybe he only wanted to give it to him with a shtar. And there's no shtar achar mitah. Rabbi Yochanan Amar tibadek. Rabbi Yochanan says, look into it, check it. What do you mean tibadek? So Kiata Rav Dimi Amar, Daitiki mivatele daitiki. One tzava b'shchir annuls the other one. V'shchir mina she'amar, kitvu tunu maneh leploni umet, ro'inim ki miyapek kocho. We're trying to say, what is he trying to do? Was he trying to give miyapek kocho, like to give him a power of attorney? So kotvin. But if not, we're not going to write it. So that means we're going to check, what was he trying to do? Was he trying to make him like stronger or just stam? If it's stam, so then no. But if he was trying to make him stronger, then yeah, we're going to write it. But you understood what it means, that one will outdoes another will. And that happens even until today. There's a later will, the last will, that's what cancels out the previous ones. Okay?
The last one, everything that before was cancelled.
Mativ Rabbi Abba Bar Mamale. Barisha Amar Kitvu Truman Leploni Umet. What happens if a regular healthy person says, write down and give him $100? En Kotvim Notim, we don't do it. Shchimina Kotvim Notim, we do it. So Humoti Levom Farekla, he asked the question, he answered it. He's being miyapek koach. He's giving him the power of attorney. What does that mean? He says we're going to finish until the Mishnah. Kufla midvava mudalef on the top. Till the Mishnah. Kedam Rav Chasa, like Rav Chasa says, v'karina mine mosif al matnat ada. He says, and we're going to acquire. Yeah, he says we're going to acquire, right, the dim from him, right, which means that they're going to make a kinyan. Right, you're going to give it to him. So Yitmar will say that Rav Yudah is the name of Shmuel. Halacha is that kotvin v'notnin, and that's what Rava said in the name of Nachman, kotvin v'notnin.